Slugger Albert Pujols and the St. Louis Cardinals welcome the world champion Florida Marlins to town. The Card slugger was 3 for 4 yesterday afternoon as the Cardinals took 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. Hopefully, he's getting hot. He's in the middle of the lineup tonight. The Cardinals start 3.5 games out in the Central. The Marlins, the Cardinals, tonight on Fox Sports Net. No delays, no more rain. We don't want to see it this weekend here at Busch Stadium. Florida Marlins playing very good baseball, picking up where they left off last season. That was a World Series title for the St. Louis Cardinals, hovering around that 500 mark at 18-17. Trader Jack and Juan Pierre at the top of that lineup. It's a good one, but this team is defined by pitching. Josh Beckett, a hero last year, will get the start tonight against Jason Marquis. It's the Cards and the Marlins in Game 1 on your home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Net. Dan McLaughlin, Al Rabowski with you, and welcome to Busch Stadium. And let's talk a little bit about this Florida Marlins team. No Juan Encarnacion. Pudge Rodriguez says, I'm out of here for $40 million. He goes to Detroit. Derek Lee is traded, a Gold Glover, very good hitting first baseman, but they've got that pitching. They don't really worry about the lineup, and that pitching is darn good.
It's very good. And they also have a little swagger to them this year. They're kind of think they're a very good ball club, which they are. They have led the Eastern Division from day one, the only team in baseball that's been in first place from Game 1 to now.
Let's break down the pitching in this series. It is brought to you by Ford. This is our key matchup. And taking a look at it, Josh Beckett, 2-1. He's been very good as of late. Jason Marquis, for whatever reason, has struggled here at Busch Stadium to start his Cardinal career. Aaron Oliver, the left-hander, former Cardinal, will go against Chris Carpenter tomorrow. Then on Sunday, Brad Penny and Woody Williams. Now, Albert Pujols, how has he done against the Florida Marlins and those three starters? Let's break that down. And like we said during the brief tease that we had, he was 3 for 4 yesterday. He had 4 hits in that series against Atlanta, and you hope, Al, that maybe he's starting to build on that.
Yeah, he's close to 290, and you can see against Beckett, he's 3 for 7. Oliver 1 for 3 in his one start against the Cardinals, his former team. And Brad Penny, who's probably been pitching better than anyone else, Albert is 4 for 14. But I think he's ready, and of course that 3-hit night yesterday really helps out.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Jason Marquis. What can we expect out of him? Because it has been a struggle here at home.
Well, he's got great stuff, and everyone is very, very comfortable and very happy with him. The one thing he's going to have to watch out is this is a very good fastball hitting team. So he's going to have to incorporate his changeup, throw breaking balls. Those pitches are real good for him. And the sinking fastball, if they hit it on the ground.
Well, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back and give you your starting lineups as well. Some different people in there for Tony La Russa because of Reggie Sanders, his ear infection, and of course Renteria suffering from a bad back. The top of the lineup will also focus on that. That means Marlon Anderson and the speedy Tony Womack. Cardinals baseball. Game 1 of this 3-game series between the Cardinals and the Florida Marlins. Dan and Al back with you here at Busch Stadium on Fox Sports Net. Juan Pierre will lead things off for the Marlins. We know he's a speedster. He had a great postseason last year, really a difference maker. At the top of the Cardinals lineup, this is good to see. Tony Womack has been a difference maker at the top of the lineup for St. Louis.
He really has. He brings an element of speed, and not only stolen bases, just the on-base percentage, the batting average, so much better than last year, and establishes a true weapon at the top of the order.
Boy, look at that. Last year, Hart, Pena, Cairo, 5 others. This year, though, a little bit of consistency up there, and the fact that Tony Womack or Marlon Anderson, you pretty much know those guys are going to be the leadoff men. And this is our Bank of America higher standard.
Yeah, the ability to bunt, and once they get on base, they can steal bases. By the way, the Cardinals are tied with the Florida Marlins in stolen bases, the lead, along with Milwaukee. They all lead up top, but Marlon Anderson gives you a little bit of long ball threat when he's in there, too. He's been an exceptional pinch hitter also.
Marlon Anderson will play right. Reggie Sanders is out of the lineup. Edgar Renteria is also out of the lineup. Hector Luna will get a start, and that's so much not a bad thing because Hector Luna has really provided a spark.
Well, I don't think we will ever want to see Edgar out there for a long period of time, but this is finally when you do have a player, Hector Luna, that can go out there. He's really worked hard at improving his defense. It really shows, and I think we all are starting to see him offensively. You don't mind him in the lineup.
This will be his 4th start in the last 5 games for Hector Luna. Again, Renteria not in the lineup along with Reggie Sanders. We'll give you the complete rundown of the defense and the lineups, and our first pitch is coming up. Trader Jack McKeon is in town the world champion Florida Marlins. They'll take on the Cardinals. Game 1 is coming up on Fox Sports Net. Busch, and welcome back. It is game number 1 of this 3-game series between the Cards and the world champion Florida Marlins. Jason Marquis is the Advanced Auto Parts starting pitcher.
Well, it's his 8th start, but he's posted quality starts in each of his last 6 outings, including a 2-0 loss last Saturday. And he's been very good on the road. An ERA tops in the National League at 1.80, but over 5 here at 4 starts at Busch Stadium.
7-10 with our first pitch, and it's a ball from Jason Marquis. 57 degrees, our game time temperature as we start play on this Friday night. Fastball tailing action in there for a strike to Juan Pierre. Tied for 3rd in the National League with 49 hits with Jack Wilson, the shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sean Casey leads the league with 52 hits. Slaps this one towards short. Luna has to be quick. Stretched by Pujols. Round number 1. The speedy Juan Pierre. Good play by Hector Luna. Jack McKeon, the National League Manager of the Year. His lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Pierre, Luis Castillo, and Mike Lowell here in the first. Then Miguel Cabrera. Hee-Seop Choi, the former Cub. Jeff Conine, Mike Redmond, Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop, and Josh Beckett batting 9th and on the mound for the Marlins.
Doing it with pitching and a couple hot hitters, particularly Lowell and Cabrera.
This guy has been struggling, and the Marlins have a couple of players in their lineup banged up. A fracture of a finger in his hand, and he's still playing through it, and that's Luis Castillo, the switch hitter, the second baseman. Pops it up. Luna going back. Makes the play. 2 down. Langford never called him off, it looked like, and Luna took the play. Cardinals defense brought to you by Auto Tire. Langford, Edmonds, and Anderson in the outfield. Roland Luna on the left side of the infield, along with Womack and Pujols on the right side, and Mike Matheny is behind the plate. 2 down, and the batter will be Mike Lowell. Good start here for Jason Marquis. First innings have been a problem for the Cardinal starters. First pitch to Lowell is upstairs.
How good do the Florida Marlins look that they didn't trade Mike Lowell last year at the trading deadline? Went on to have a solid season and having a better one this year.
Scary to think that they're going to get A.J. Burnett back the next month or so, too, recovering from arm surgery.
Marquis going to have to be very careful with Mike Lowell and Cabrera, their sensation that's on deck. There's a lot of guys to be careful of.
Lowell has a 5-game hit streak on the line tonight, hitting .413 over the last 12 games. 5 home runs and slugging .848.
5th in home runs with a little over 11 at-bats per home run.
Shallow center, Edmonds. Got it. A 1-2-3 start for Jason Marquis. Cardinals coming up in the bottom of the first. Game 1 of this 3-game series. The world champion Marlins in town to take on the Cards. Our Advanced Auto Parts starter is Josh Beckett. Opponents only hitting .218 against him this year, and he's 2-0 in his last 3 starts, Al.
He's one of the great young power arms of the game, and a little bit inconsistent, but he's got a great fastball. The Cardinal hitter is going to have to keep from chasing the ball, particularly above the belt. That's a tough pitch to hit. He's also got a very good curveball and changeup.
Lineup for Tony La Russa, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Tony Womack, Ray Langford, and Albert Pujols here in the first. Roland is the cleanup man. And Edmonds, Marlon Anderson, and right tonight, Hector Luna, Mike Matheny, and Jason Marquis. Your Southwest Airlines starting lineup. And here's Tony Womack. Average has dipped to .283. Last season, the World Series hero was Josh Beckett. A 5-hit shutout to beat the Yankees in the clinching game. Amazingly, Al, he struck out 47 in postseason play. 47.
Get into a roll, and They went 1-1 with a 1.10 ERA and 2 starts against the Yankees. Was named the World Series MVP. Jack McKeon, controversially.
Womack slaps this one into right. Cabrera on the move, and he'll make the play.
Very nice play behind Beckett, but controversially, he started on 3 days rest in that game 7.
We'll talk about that as the night goes along. A look at the defense brought to you by Auto Tire. Third baseman Mike Lowell there. Conine, Pierre, and Cabrera. You just saw him in right field. Lowell, Gonzalez on the left side of the infield. Castillo and Hesop Choi on the right side. And Mike Redmond is behind the plate. Jack McKeon rolled the dice in that move with Josh Beckett. He said, go out, take a bullpen, as this one is drilled into right field. Cardinals lead it 1-0 on a home run by Ray Langford. The first pitch that he saw. 1-0 Cards. Langford's 4th home run of the season.
It's the all-time Busch Stadium home run leader with now 122 right here at his home ballpark. And when this place is torn down for the new park, Ray will still be that reigning home run champ of Busch Stadium. Not waiting around, set up outside, and that ball was in the inner part of the plate, thigh high, and he gave it a ride. It's only the 4th home run allowed by Beckett, and 2 very well hit balls right here off the first 2 batters.
Pujols pops it up right side. Get out of play. Hesop Choi over, leaning, won't get it. Good effort there by Hesop Choi. Strike 1 on Albert Pujols. So Langford has made this a 1-0 St. Louis lead. We're talking about the World Series, Al. Jack McKeon went to Beckett. He said, all right, go ahead and throw a bullpen. Tell me how you feel. He said, I want to do it. I want to go on 3 days rest. He did it. 5-hit shutout of the Yankees, 2-0 to clinch the World Series. A lot of people thought it was a bad move by Jack McKeon. Could have gone with Redmond, and instead it paid off going with the right-hander. Pujols pops it into right. 2 down.
Well, Jack McKeon didn't wait around 70-plus years to make decisions based on other people's information. He doesn't, not into the computers, he's not into the statisticians, he's not into the videotapes, he's just into instincts.
I think you can take a little bit of both.
Well, sure, yeah.
Incorporate it, but McKeon says, you know what, I'm not a Moneyball guy at all. I just go by my gut. I've been around this game a long time.
And it also helps to be 72 years of age and say, well, what am I going to do? Go back and sit in front of the TV set back home? And, you know, that's what I was doing before he got the call last May to manage this club.
They were 10 games under 500 when he took over on May 11th. So just around this time last year, and they turned it around. Jeff Torborg was fired. The players talked about such a relaxed atmosphere under Jack McKeon, and they just took to that. Got great starting pitching, got hot, and won the World Series as the wild card for the 2nd time in franchise history. Did it back in '97.
Danny, I don't know if you were paying attention before the game, and when they were doing their team stretch, and I mean, there was more laughing and kidding and camaraderie going along with their teammates than I've seen in a long time. And that's kind of what he's instilled. You know, hey, gentlemen, we're paid to be baseball players, so let's play baseball, but let's also have fun.
3-1 pitch. Rowland pulls it sharply to Mike Lowell. Cardinals are done in their half of the first, but Ray Langford goes deep. His 7th RBI. This one off of Josh Beckett. Home run number 4. 1-0 Cards. Second 1-0 Cardinals thanks to the home run by Langford. Miguel Cabrera, the cleanup man for Florida, will dig in. We talk about Albert Pujols being one of the great young players in Major League Baseball. This guy is skyrocketing into that status.
He's only 21. He just turned that 21. Batting cleanup for the world champions. He's already got 11 home runs.
That's tops in the National League.
Yeah, he didn't seem like he got called up last year to play at Busch Stadium in his debut with the major leagues. And he is a big kid. You know, you can see that as he gets older, he's going to fill out. He's actually a natural third baseman. And they say he'd be a very good one, a better one than Lowell, but he's a good enough athlete. He can play out in the outfield.
The 0-2, past rolling, fair ball. And it's touched by a fan. It'll be a double for Cabrera to lead things off here in the second. First hit by the Marlins.
Best young hitters in baseball, power hitting numbers, and very likable. Talking to him just over the head of Rowan down into the corner, and touched by a fan for a ground rule double. Tony Taylor introduced me to him, told me what a nice guy he is.
Here's Hee-Sop Choi, part of the trade that brought Derek Lee to the Cubs. Marlins get Choi. Marlins did not clean house like they did back in '98 after their World Series championship.
They had a little pairing, but not as much, and they still have the nucleus of their good young pitching.
One of those guys that was a hero in '97. Of course, Edgar Renteria, who is on the bench tonight for the Cards, out with that sore back. Hopefully he's going to be all right and play tomorrow and maybe Sunday as well.
And a little warmer weather, and plenty of tickets available for tomorrow's game, and it's Kansas City Life Insurance card set day.
2 balls and a strike on Hee-Sop Choi.
And on Sunday, 200 Upper Terrace Reserve tickets available. This is the Marlins' only visit to St. Louis this season, and that is Rawlings Scott Rowland Bat Day. So come out for those gifts, and very nice weather, 70s and 80s.
Choi may have broken his bat. It's fouled back, kind of clunked off the bat. It's 2-2. Hee-Sop Choi never really made that kind of impression that many thought he would while in Chicago. Good defensive player, but Mark Grace was expendable because of Choi. And they figured out that he couldn't play every day. Had to trade for Eric Karros.
If you remember when he got that concussion colliding with Kerry Wood, I think that had somewhat of an effect and set him back a little bit. But you know, the Florida Marlins knew Derek Lee was a very good player, but they're happy with this cheaper version.
The 3-2. Fouled out of play.
Hee-Sop had some fans and some signs in the stands today. Asked him, he said, yeah, they're students from Washington University, Chinese students.
Full count on Choi with the runner at second. Cabrera.
He's Korean.
He is Korean.
Yeah, they're Korean.
The first U.S. president to pitch hit Busch makes history in the all-new Cardinals Game Day magazine. Jason Marquis, tonight's starter. Ray Lankford, who is homer tonight, also take the spotlight in this one-of-a-kind keepsake issue. Operators are standing by. The number to call is 982-7336. 982-7336.
Nice talk with Jeff Conine before the game, and we were talking about he was on that '97 team and how much he's enjoyed watching Renteria's career.
Well, Jeff Conine is one of the top racquetball players in the country.
You know, he had lunch with today?
No.
Marty Hogan.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Said, I can beat him in handball today. He said, don't tell him that, but he said he'd probably get me in, you know, in racquetball right now.
First and second for Conine. Pops it fouling out of play. Interesting article on him a few weeks ago, talking about all the different stadiums that he has played in. And now he's played in every single stadium in both the American League and now the National League. Started with Baltimore last year, wound up with the Florida Marlins. We saw him in interleague play, actually. Pitch was left up in the zone, and Conine got a piece.
He was one of the original expansion draft choices. They got him from the Kansas City organization, and He maintained his home even when he went to Baltimore in South Florida. I played in his golf tournament before, but he is one of the most respected current and past Marlins.
Grew up in that Kansas City Royals organization. Takes a pitch up to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 runners on, and the Cardinals leading here in the second by a run. Have you seen the Marlins World Series rings?
I've just seen a photograph, but I've been told that they are just unbelievable.
They are unbelievable. I thought the Rams.
Yeah.
I thought that one was unbelievable.
Well, you got an art dealer as your owner.
You're going to get that.
And I think he's, you know, the league gives you X amount of dollars to spend, and I think he spent an additional $4 million on the rings.
A lot of the front office got them. Broadcasters got them. There was a primary ring and then kind of a condensed version of the championship ring, but he spared no expense in thanking those people. That one will carry to center to Jim Edmonds. Cabrera will tag up from second, move to third. Which runners at the corners with 1 out.
Good base running by the youngster going on over to third. Recognizing it's going to be caught by the Gold Glover in center and tagging up. More ways to score from third, but takes that lead, and then he gets back to the bag when he sees that Edmonds is going into the right field corner, so it's a much more difficult throw.
Here's the catcher, Mike Redmond.
With Choi not advancing, and he would have been a risky play for him to advance to second base. The double play is still in order.
Sure. Redmond does not run all that well. Struggling too, just 4 for his last 25. And you see where Mike Matheny set up. See if Redmond would reach out and possibly pull a ground ball to short or left side to Scott Rowland.
Yes, also has a broken finger. Hitting 160 in his last 7 games.
2-0.
Dropping his average from 406 to 298.
It's well on the road, over 300, and against right-handed pitching, 326. Runners at the corners with Cabrera at third base. He stopped Choi, the runner, at first. 2 balls and no strikes.
Now Redmond was one of those guys that didn't get a lot of playing time, particularly when they had Pudge Rodriguez, an uncharacteristic. He's a career .291 batting average, but he's always been a great hitter against left-handers. He's hit well against the Cardinals, but this year he's batting under 200 against lefties and 326 against righties. He has a career mark of 328 against lefties.
2-1 pitch. Chopper. Womack gets that man. Choi in the rundown. And they get that double play, but the run does score, and the game is tied as Cabrera scores. Heads up play there by Choi to get the rundown. Only play for Womack was to do what he did, throw to first and then get into that rundown. Game is tied at 1-1. Bottom of the second is coming up. Last play that allowed the Florida Marlins to get their first run to tie this game at 1. Only play really for Tony Womack, Al, was to make sure and get that runner at first base, and then Choi gets in the rundown and stays in it, allows Cabrera to score.
Yeah, it really wasn't hit hard enough, and you can see as Cabrera scores, the umpire making sure that the run does count, and there it does now. But you know, he just didn't have the time to go to second base and get the return throw. The ball was a little clunker, hit up in front of the bag, and it allowed the run to score, but it just wasn't a typical double play ball.
Here's Jim Edmonds. Edmonds into right field on the first pitch to start the second. He's thinking too. He'll test Cabrera. He's got a gun off the mark, though. A double for Edmonds, hustling out of the box.
You're right. Cabrera has a gun, but sometimes having a gun and you're not an outfielder. He's a converted third baseman. He's only 21 years of age. He did play some left field last year, but now playing right. He didn't come up to stop Jim Edmonds, and then his throw was offline. Off-speed pitch, hooks it down here, and kind of flat-footed. There's just that slight hesitation, and then with the throw offline, Jimmy was able to take advantage and get to second base in scoring position. Risky play, but you look great when you're safe.
Now you've got Marlon Anderson. Will try to move Edmonds over to third or try to drive him in. Mike Lowell anticipating a bunt on the grass at third base, and the first pitch is a ball.
Cardinals have a couple guys that have had success. Not a great deal of at-bats. You can see Lowell playing in, but Anderson is 3 for 8 when facing Beckett. Edmonds now 5 for 8.
Trying to pull that ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nice note here from P. Deuce and Dan Danny. They say, Al, we can't wait for the Hungo Award coming up tonight.
You know, people are just getting it. That's the highlight of their nights. The Hungo Award.
See what we can do for P. Deuce and Dan Danny. 1 ball, 1 strike. With Edmonds, the runner at second base. And time is called. Our home plate umpire is Jack Samuels. Our good buddy, and we love him. Jerry Crawford over there at first base. Spagnardi is at second, and Phil Cuzzy is our third base umpire.
Kurt Slogo, who handles the dressing room for the umpires.
That is pulled to the right side. Edmonds will stop at third base as Cabrera will get it back in quickly. A double and now a single. It's first and third for Hector Luna. What a job Marlon Anderson has done, in particular offensively.
And he's a very likable guy, but he's come in and has had a great attitude, played numerous different positions, always ready to play, comes off the bench and has become a terrific pinch hitter. But you just like him as a hitter. He is more of an offensive player than a defensive one, and he can run a little bit when he's on the base paths.
Now the Cardinals are leading the majors with 98 home runs hit and allowed, an average of close to 3 per game. A guy like Luna, you can do some things here, even though it's early in the game. Tony La Russa, we've seen it this season, more so than maybe the last couple of years. Sacrifices, squeeze plays. We've seen that once already in this homestand, and I like it.
Sure, you just, it puts pressure, it gets the defense thinking about things.
Time was granted for Luna.
My point about Kurt Slogos, who does the umpires, I was talking to him before the game at the batting cage, and I said, what crew do we got in here? He said Jerry Crawford, and then he said 2 guys that I've never met before. There's the veteran crew chief, he's working first base, and then the home plate umpires, Samuels and Spagnardi. Out at second are newcomers.
Runners at first and third, and Luna pops it foul and out of play. 0-2 is the count. Jerry Crawford, of course, was the home plate umpire when we had a aversion to the game last year when he was behind the plate
with Mike Matheny.
And
Houston and Mike Matheny, and people might remember what we're talking about.
Right.
Our first time since those two have met.
Let's see where Jack Samuels is. Is he touching Redmond, the catcher? That was the big concern with Matheny last year.
No, he's not. Not even pushing him down.
1-2 the count. That was something else last year.
It's hard to understand it.
Shouldn't be that hard.
Hopefully it's won't ever happen again. Because obviously it's, talk to some of the National League catchers. They say it's a common practice from Jerry, but it got a little extreme that time. Redmond, Beckett trying to get together.
But you would figure, though, that if you're asked, then you would pretty much say, okay, I'll back up, or I'll get my hand off you, I'll find a stance that I'm comfortable with, but I'm not going to impact the game in any kind of way. You would figure. saw a different thing happen, though, in Houston. Cardinals return to the field here on Fox Sports Net. They'll take on Mike Piazza and the Mets. That'll be next Tuesday. Coverage begins at 5:30 here on Fox Sports Net with Cardinals tonight. That will be our next game as we head to the Big Apple. Luna pulls it foul.
And it seems like we've got a lot of road games next 6 weeks.
20 of 26 coming up away from Busch. Some tough games as well with the Chicago Cubs and Houston Astros. Schedule makers have it to where the Cardinals, a week after the All-Star break, will be done with Chicago. I guess they didn't feel that the excitement was good enough. That 5-game series last year at Wrigley Field. That makes no sense. None.
I'm boycotting computers.
You're boycotting them?
Yeah.
Of course, you don't know how to turn one on, but
turn it on. I just don't do anything after.
Don't the girls teach you anything in that household? Help you out with anything?
No.
Do you want to be taught?
Yep.
Come on over to my house. We'll take care of you, Al. On 1 and 2, he waits on the pitch and picks up an RBI single for Hector Luna. Good job of hitting. It looked like initially, Al, he was fooled by the pitch, but stayed with it and drilled it up the middle.
Well, hanging breaking balls, you can be fooled and still adjust to them. And that's exactly what Beckett threw. Mistake pitch, and give Luna credit. But a hanging breaking ball, they put the foot down, but the hands were back, was able to adjust to it and pull the trigger, and bam. Cardinals now have that 2-1 lead. He is becoming a fleeting thought. You know, when you saw him in spring training, you saw the talent level he had. You knew that he wasn't going to be offered back to Cleveland as a Rule 5 player, but now he's not even, you couldn't even trade for him. And they wouldn't want to even send him back. You know, even send him, make a trade to where you could send him to the minor leagues. He's too valuable right here.
Starting in his 4th game in 5 nights for the Cardinals. He can play second, he can play short, he can play first, he can play third.
For the outfield.
Yep.
And gaining more and more confidence and working harder and harder on his defense.
1 ball, 1 strike on Mike Matheny. Cody McKay behind the plate yesterday as the Cardinals took 2 of 3 against Atlanta.
You know, Beckett's, because of his power fastball and the way he elevates it, he's very difficult to bunt. But with a good hitting pitcher like Marquis, they're not really playing for it, and you could see that could be a possibility.
2 runners on, nobody out. 1-1 pitch. 2-1. Matheny snapped an 0 for 10 skid. 8th inning single on Wednesday night. Been struggling a little bit at the plate. Heading the count here.
Sometimes when you're struggling, you know, I don't know if you necessarily do it with Beckett, but a hit and run is kind of a concept to get a guy going. But Beckett, an awful lot of swinging and missing.
Up the middle, another base hit for the Cardinals. Pierre's throw will go into third base. RBI single for Mike Matheny. Luna all the way around second and into third, and it's 3-1 Cardinals on 4 consecutive base hits here in the 2nd inning.
Remember, Tony Womack hit the ball hard leading off, and here just another solid single, just going out there, just playing pepper. And you will take advantage of Juan Pierre's throwing arm every time you get a chance. So not only do you get the run, but Luna goes from first to third, and that is a terrific move. With nobody out, a real good, easy opportunity for Marquis to pick up another easy RBI. Wayne Rosenthal, and you know, like, I think is the pitching coach. He's out to talk to Beckett and Redmond. Maybe overlooked is Rosie's contribution. He came to the Florida Marlins with Jack McKeon, and he came up from the minor leagues, maybe the youngest pitching coach in baseball, but he works very well with this young starting staff.
Remember this time last year, too, it was a bad situation with A.J. Burnett, and A.J. was saying that he did not want to stay in that Marlins organization. He was misused, and that's why he was hurt, as the right-hander Wayne is getting loose and ready to go.
Justin Wayne.
What do you do here with Jason Marquis? Good hitting pitcher. Got first and third and nobody out.
Well, like I said, Beckett's not the easiest guy to bunt because of his movement and throws the ball up. But you open up the defense a little bit. Marquis is a pretty good hitting pitcher.
Slaps it foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. Josh Beckett is from Texas, born in 1980. You see Jose Oquendo flashing the signs, and Beckett was a guy that grew up idolizing Roger Clemens. Of course, Clemens idolized Nolan Ryan. 1 ball, 1 strike on Marquis. Well, we had a great night at Mike Shannon's restaurant last night. Celebrity waiter night to benefit Cardinals Care. Marquis was there along with Steve Klein and Jason Isringhausen, of course, Mr. Shannon.
And nice going yourself.
It was fun.
Representing us.
Tell you what a classy guy Jeff Suppan is. He was over there too. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Puts it in play. Lowe will go home. Luna's caught in a rundown. And he was tagged out. So runners at first and second. Back to the top of the order. Not a very good base running play there by Hector Luna.
Well, it looked like he was going on contact and he was trapped off. So as they're playing in for the bunt, goes like that, he's going on contact, it just goes right to the third baseman, tries to stay in the rundown long enough for Matheny to come over, and that's not going to happen. But they did a very good job, the Florida Marlins, in executing the rundown. So Matheny can only advance to second, Marquis on at first, and there is only 1 out.
As you mentioned, Womack hit the ball hard his first time up. Lined out to right. Runners at first and second. Tony slaps it back foul for strike 1. Talked about the leadoff men being a key for both these teams. Career numbers for Womack against Florida. Broken bat, hit to short.
Trapped it. Trying to get it.
Lets it drop. It's that man there. There's some confusion right now as to who is out or not.
See what happens now. Step on the base. Tag the runner.
So it was a trap by the shortstop. Matheny was caught in no man's land because he's the runner at second base.
Jack McKeon is going to come out and question this.
The shortstop,
yeah. I mean, it appeared that he's going to catch in there. He lets the ball trap. He traps the ball, and so it's a live ball. So when they went, you know, they get Marquis out because he stepped on the base to get the force out there. Once he does that, then Mike Matheny's able to reclaim second base. They messed it up.
And Choi did not step on the bag. That's where their second out would have been on that play, Al.
Right. You know, they could have done if they would have gone to third base. See, now watch it. Everybody, the runners think he's going to catch it, but he traps it, or he lets it bounce. So if he goes to third base, then they've got the base. So, see, they go in second base. That's Marquis. Marquis out, and Mike Matheny did a great job because he was off the bag, And then once they got the force out of the runner at first base, he stepped back on the bag, and now he's giving it back. So the umpires got it right. They messed it up defensively.
Here's Langford. He got things started with a solo home run.
So Womack is at first base on the fielder's choice. Marquis is off the bases. That helps him out. Right. He can go think about next inning. And so it's just better base runner at first.
Get the speed of Womack. Langford goes the opposite way. Conine in front of the track, and he's got it. Cardinals picked up 4 consecutive hits and 2 more runs. They lead it 3-1 here in St. Louis. 3-1 Cardinals, top of the third. Walter Payton's personality and relentless style of play endeared him to fans around the world. But for all of his endurance on the field, a rare illness cut short his life and left behind a legacy that will never be forgotten. Walter Payton, Beyond the Glory. Sunday at 8, only on Fox Sports Net. Sweetness. Alex Gonzalez, then Josh Beckett. Back to the top of the order for the Marlins. 3-1 Cards. A very cool night here in downtown St. Louis. It's supposed to be beautiful on Saturday and Sunday, but rather cool tonight. Good pitching weather. Tapped foul. Vivian Resch is celebrating her retirement tonight after 41 years of teaching. Congratulations to Vivian Resch here at the ballpark. And enjoy retirement. 3-1 Cardinals. They picked up a run in the first, 2 in the second. Banged out 5 hits against Josh Beckett. On 1 and 2, it's clunked into right. Anderson coming on. He'll make the play. Round number 1.
They've asked Marlon Anderson, an infielder, when playing defense in the outfield, to play a little deeper. He's had some trouble with balls over his head.
There's Josh Beckett. Looks at a ball. New York is at Houston tonight. Steve Traxel against Roy Oswalt. Oswalt is 2-1. Chicago at San Diego later tonight. Greg Maddux against Ishmael Valdez. Valdez off to a good start. How about the Padres? Valdez has 3 wins. He's 3-1. And San Diego's only 2 games back at 21-14.
Beckett enjoys hunting and fishing during his spare time.
Taken here by Luna.
Josh Beckett last year was in 2002 was the all-around Muy Grande winner, an award given to the largest deer shot in Texas during hunting season. 245 pounds live weight. And then he bagged a 14-pound buck that scored 401 on the Muy Grande point system. I know you know about this, but it grossed 188 5/8 on the Boone and Crockett scoring scale.
I'm still trying to catch up and figure out the
Muy Grande?
Yeah. I have no idea.
285 or 245?
Line drive to Tony Womack. Boy, that was a bullet. And a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Marquis. Bottom of the third is coming up. Pujols, Rowland, and Edmonds. Thank you, Tony Womack. 3-1 St. Louis.
Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Advance Auto. We're ready in advance. By Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by Rico. How well do you print, copy, scan, fax? How well do you share?
He was the MVP last year in the World Series, Josh Beckett. Already tonight, he's allowed 5 hits and 3 runs. We start playing the bottom of the third.
A little inconsistent this year, but still, with the power arm that he has and only 23 years of age, you'd like to have him on the mound every time you can get the chance.
Jack McKeon thinks he's going to be a consistent 20-game winner. Give him another year or so under his belt.
He was the second pick overall in the nation back in '99, and I happened to be. We had an off day in Florida, and I would happen to be with John Henry the night that he came in and was introduced and was negotiating with the Florida Marlins. And John Henry came back and told me, he wants a whole bunch of money, and he got a bunch. But he said, in 2 years, I want to be an all-star. And the Florida Marlins, thought, well, hey, with your talent, we hope you're an all-star this year. He goes, no, an all-star in the big leagues. And he was a high school player.
2-1 pitch. Thought it was interesting, by the way, to listen to Tony La Russa. We had our affiliate radio and television Bud Sports breakfast yesterday, and Tony La Russa saying Rick Ankiel is throwing lightly, but would expect him to be on the mound and competing, wherever that might be, but competing in September.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, they have to see what he has. He had the Tommy John surgery, so it'll be late in the second half. He will get the, go on a medical rehab, and then he will be called up in September because he'll be out of options. So they'll have to make a decision on him, not so much for this year, but for the future. Is he worth keeping a roster spot for after this year?
Beckett gives up the leadoff walk to Pujols. Brings in Scott Rowland. At the time of that injury, the Cardinals really felt that his control was starting to get back to where it was prior to his wildness.
I think that's what people have not seen him to know, that they don't consider him to have a control problem anymore.
Strike to Scott Rowland.
So when he comes back, they'll think he'll have that good stuff and will have command of the strike zone.
He's still young. To me, he's worth that chance.
I think he will turn 25 in July.
Rowland pulls it to Mike Lowell. His counterpart, chance at a double play, and they turn it 5-4-3. So Rowland is over 2. Brings in Edmonds, who doubled and scored back in the second.
Beckett's had his problems with Pujols. He's 3 for 8. Rowland, even though he's 0 for 2, is now 6 for 18. Jim Edmonds is 5 for 8 with a home run. And Marlon Anderson is 4 for 9.
2 outs, nobody on. And the first pitch to Edmonds. Ball 1 taken by Jim. That double, he hit down the first base line. Tested Miguel Cabrera and his arm in right. Won that test. Came around to score. The RBI base hit by Hector Luna. 1-1 to count on Edmonds. With Marlon Anderson to follow if Jimmy can extend this inning. Another good crowd here at Busch Stadium.
Who Josh Beckett is dating?
The sexy Leanne Tweedy.
Joe Buck told me she's supposed to be here this weekend.
Swing and a miss by Edmonds. First strikeout for Beckett. We move to the 4th. Back here at Busch, it's the top of the 4th. And the Cardinals lead it by the score of 3-1. If you tuned in yesterday here on Fox, you saw a rough afternoon for the Braves catcher, Johnny Estrada. Here's a look from Mike Matheny's view.
Well, I realize that it's not a good spot to be in, and you realize that also that those nights happen when they just keep coming. And every once in a while you get that night where you'll get hit once and you won't get hit for a few more days, but you also have those games like he had where they just keep coming. And you know, there's a lot of protection on you, but you don't get covered everywhere, and that can make for a long night. But you know, he stayed in there. It's always a tough thing for a catcher. You never want to show that it hurts. And that's the way I was always taught. And But you know, there's sometimes I guess you just gotta go down because you can't help it, and I think that was one of the nights for him.
Al, it got to the point where that thing was humorous.
Oh, well, and
I
even
felt bad for him, but it was humorous.
a little sadistic from Mike there. You know, he was smiling and laughing talking about it. And we didn't have enough time to show you about 4 more shots that Estrada got. You know, everybody was kind of chuckling about it, as long as it wasn't your body that was getting pummeled.
Sure. I think he had tonight off, too.
Yes, he did, because Ramirez was pitching.
Right.
And he doesn't catch him, thankfully.
Came at just the right time. 2 balls and 2 strikes, Luis Castillo. Better hitter than this average at 244. But the struggles we've talked about because of that broken finger, still trying to play through it. Full count. This is a guy that you want to leave off the bases. You've got Pierre and you've got Castillo at the top of this order. The Marlins can really do some damage with their speed.
And Jason Marquis has to be careful with him. He has 6 for 15 against this right-hander.
He chops it back to Marquis. Over to Pujols for the first out. It's 6 straight set down by Marquis. I know Adam Wainwright is the centerpiece of that trade for the Cardinals, and when they sent him to with J.D. Drew to Atlanta. But you look at Marquis and his stuff. Cardinals picked up a pitcher for right now, and it's surprising that he did not make it and didn't fare well with Leo Mazzoni for whatever reason and the Atlanta Braves. Very likable guy. Obviously very good stuff. What a play. What a play by Scott Rowland. Wow.
Ranging far to his left. 6'4", 240, and you know he has the agility of an athletic shortstop. And anytime a third baseman goes left, he can go get it. But look at that little short hop, in between hop, and a little pirouette. Rights himself and throws on the run. And it's a cannon at the other end.
Again, his bat day is coming up this Sunday. Rawlings Scott Rowland bat day. Fielding percentage, NL leaders at third base. Vinny Castilla's having a very good year. See Scott Rowland, of course, near the top. 5-time Gold Glover.
With his range, Scott Rowland's range, he made 2 errors, but his range is much greater than all those guys and anybody else.
You made a great point. I think we forget that the guy is 240 pounds. The way that he runs, as big as he is, he was a terrific basketball player. Signed with Georgia out of high school.
He's just too fat, though.
Yeah, right.
You know, instead of 4% body fat, he might have 5. And I'm kidding about that.
2-1 the count on Cabrera.
Actually, he takes his shirt off, he looks like he could gain weight. Needs to gain weight.
3-1 here on Cabrera. 11 home runs and leads the National League. So be careful here. You look at him, he looks like he's about 14. Just turned 21. Line shot into the seats. Let's hope everybody's all right. Full count.
Second in the National League in seeing 4.44 pitches per plate appearance. You can see here he's always sitting there getting a lot of pitches, and that's part of the equation of why he is among the league leaders, major league leaders, with his 11 home runs.
Steve Finley has been on a tear. Adam Dunn off to a good start. Mike Lowell, his teammate, with 11. Cabrera, hot shot to Tony Womack. Backhanded play. Starts with Marquis, then goes to Rowland. The Cardinal starter getting some help behind him. Scott Rowland, the Gold Glover, third. 3-1 Cards. 3-1 Cardinals, bottom of the 4th. Here at Busch Stadium. Josh Beckett back to work. This is Marlon Anderson for St. Louis.
Tony West scaring that kid.
During our break, that kid was trying to avoid the camera, but can't avoid Tony West. He's one of the best. You can't do it, Al. 0-2 on Anderson. He was fooled mightily by that last pitch. That average at 346, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs. Been a great pinch hitter for the Cardinals. Here's the 0-2. Cardinals with a run in the first and 2 in the second.
It's Marlins' 8th start in the outfield. 5 in left, 3 in right. Started 8 games at second base. He's hit .351 during that time. And he has 6 pinch hits. That's tied for second in the National League. So it's been a nice, solid work.
Foul tip. It looked like it hit the ground. And Marlon Anderson is saying that that hit the ground before it got to the catcher. I thought I heard that. There are microphones down by the field, and here comes Tony La Russa. You agree?
Sounded like there was a skip before it hit into the glove. But obviously, the catcher is, the umpire is right there, and he's has better hearing. Let's look at here. See his foul ball. Well, it definitely bounced. Sure. I'm not sure he made contact. Yeah, it bounced. So there's no way. Good salesman job by Redmond.
Regardless, it's a strikeout. Here's Luna. Hector Luna with an RBI base hit tonight, playing shortstop with Renteria on the bench. That sore back.
A hanging breaking ball the first time. It's a much better one.
0-2. Seems like Beckett is starting to sharpen up a bit as this game progresses.
I've seen it happen with a lot of guys. You're going to get to starters. You got to get to them early before they kind of get into a groove. You want the fastball, another curveball.
Luna hits it into center. Carries to Juan Pierre. 2 outs. The Aflac trivia question. Aflac. The state 1986, Reggie Jackson hit home run number 537 to surpass Mickey Mantle on the all-time list. Who was pitching? 1986.
I'll help you out. Hall of Famer Reggie Jackson passes Hall of Famer Mickey Mantle, and a future Hall of Famer served it up.
He's still going strong.
Don't give him too much.
Reggie Jackson has finally agreed to have a day honoring him in Oakland. He wouldn't do that for a number of years unless he was paid.
I knew there was a catch.
Went into the Hall of Fame as a Yankee. Time is called by Matheny. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and nobody on. The Cardinals leading by 2 runs.
Still remember the night where
nasty pitch. Matheny strikes out. Beckett strikes out 2 in this inning and 3 in the game. Starting to settle in. Bottom of the 4th is done. It's 3-1 St. Louis. Flag trivia question concerning Reggie Jackson. As Hee-Sop Choi will lead things off for the Florida Marlins. Back in 1986, this date. Home run number 537. Who gave it up? Roger Clemens. Still going strong at the age of 41.
strong.
Leads the league with 7 wins.
Strong. 7-0. That's strong.
How else would you describe it? Outstanding.
Super strong.
Superb. Strong.
I was going to say, I remember the night that Charlie Finley got mad, and it seemed like he tried to sell off Joe Rudy, Ollie Fingers, Reggie Jackson, Catfish Hunter, Vita Blue.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Holtzman might have been in there, or tennis or something like this, but tried to sell them off to a couple clubs, and the commissioner's office had to step in and said there's too much money being exchanged. Might have been like $3 million.
Broken bat lifted into left. Coming hard is Langford. He makes the play. Choi's bat was shattered. Well, Marquis is pitching a whale of a game so far. Just one hit allowed.
This is kind of, and it's interesting because talking with Dave Duncan before the game, he's talking about how happy he is with Marquis, but he said this is a very good hitting team, very good fastball hitting team. He's going to have to rely on his changeup. He's going to have to throw the curveball, but he's going to have to keep the ball down.
One out, nobody on. This is Jeff Conine. Back in the early 90s, Jeff Conine, just how good of a racquetball player he was and is. He was the under-24 national champion. So he was playing competitively. He does that in the offseason to keep himself in shape. 1 ball, 1 strike, and he's in terrific shape. Why do you think Roger Clemens is 7-0 and pitching still at 94, 95 miles an hour? He looks as strong as he ever has. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a combination of things, but what really the deal is that he is so relaxed. He's enjoying himself. He still has the physical abilities, obviously, but even Brad Ausmus and some of his teammates talk about his intensity, how he can be up so high for every single pitch and focused. But I just think it's just the fact that
Luna can't come up with it. A base hit for Conine, just the second tonight for the Marlins.
he's come with the realization that it could end, and so I'm going to ride out the string as long as possible. And there's no way he's quitting after this year either.
7-0. He doesn't have to face a DH in the National League. And the National League, for the most part, outside of interleague play the last few years, getting their first look at Clemens. And you would know this better than I, but I would imagine that advantage goes to the pitcher.
Well, it goes to the pitcher, but, you know, when you're a starter, they're seeing you, and with how much videotape, go back to 1986, or go back to 84, when he started pitching and got to the major league level. You should know what you're going to get from him, but his stuff is very, very good.
Throwing that split finger for strikes ahead in the count.
That's it.
It's not like you're facing David Ortiz either as a DH or some of the true great DH hitters. Edgar Martinez, you've got a 9th spot in the order. You've got the 8th man, which typically isn't a very strong man. Can they get 2? That's 1. Rooney, first double play. 4-6-3 double play. Second double play that Marquis has gotten the Marlins to hit into. St. Louis 3-1. Was about hit the Florida Marlins 5-2 as we move to the bottom of the 5th. St. Louis on top by the score of 3-1. We're still awaiting the arrival of Mike Redmond, the catcher that hit into a double play. He's hit into 2 tonight. Now he pops out of the dugout and behind the plate. There's Mr. Redmond. This is our Bank of America higher standards. And the double play turned by the Cardinals. 4-6-3 to end the top of the 5th.
It's the 44th double play the Cardinals have turned. And with Tony Womack's sore arm, it's a nice little flip, and then Luna has a much stronger arm, so a nice combination there.
Here's Jason Marquis. He's only allowed a couple of hits tonight. Just 1 run. Marquis and then Womack and Langford for the Cardinals. First pitch, hit to short. 1 pitch and 1 out. Mentioned that Houston playing New York tonight. Roy Oswalt on the mound for the Astros. They head to the 5th and they're trailing. Houston is trailing 5-1.
Florida took 2 out of 3 from Houston. They had a controversial play that decided the game last night.
Jimmy Williams, by the way, has been disciplined by Major League Baseball and suspended for the games this weekend.
Good.
Houston a record of 21-13. They lead Chicago by a pair of games. Milwaukee only 3 back. The Cardinals at 3.5. Well, Milwaukee 18 and 16.
So they're a much improved ball club, and Cardinals were unfortunate to play them so soon where they still had a good spring and thought they were a good team.
They're showing they're pretty good to start this season. A trade for Richie Sexson to Arizona has paid off big time.
Lyle Oberbe, he's second to Scott Rowland in the major leagues with 34 RBIs.
Picked up Junior Spivey, Greg Counsell, Milwaukee native. Like having a manager on the field.
Chad Muller behind the plate.
Yep.
Starting pitcher. And they also got a youngster that they're raving about, a left-hander in the minor leagues that they think could be the best of the lot.
Chad Muller hit for the cycle.
Yep.
About a week ago. 3 balls and a strike on Tony Womack. There's a base hit for the Cardinals. Womack is 1 for 3. First base hit for the Cardinals since the 2nd inning.
It's a 6th Cardinal hit. Womack's first. Choking up a little bit. He knows what his strengths are, is hitting line drives, lift it over the infield and take off, go to run it.
Here's Langford. Homered his first time up all the way back in the 1st inning. He lined out to left with 2 runners on, and a check on Womack. These 2 teams, the 2 best teams in the league as far as stolen bases are concerned. A lot of that to do with Tony Womack. See if he wants to do some running here. Quick tag by Choi, but Tony back in there safely.
9 for 9 in stolen base opportunities. Mentioned Marlins, Cardinals, and Milwaukee. I should say Podsednik.
Yeah.
Are tied for the league leadership in stolen bases with 27. Tony has 1/3 of those 27 and hasn't been caught yet.
Broken bat, chance at a double play. That's 1. 2, double play. Good play by Castillo. 4-3 on the double play, and we move to the 6th. Cardinals up 3-1. Redbird recap. It's 3-1 St. Louis. Langford with the home run, a solo shot for the Cardinals back in the 1st. And consecutive RBI base hits from Hector Luna and Mike Matheny. And it's 3-1. This is Alex Gonzalez for the Marlins. Gonzalez, of course, the home run, walk-off homer, 12th inning of Game 4 of the World Series. That was off of Jeff Weaver, who's now with the Dodgers. Pulled just foul. 0-2 the count.
Gonzalez made Renteria expendable. Struggled offensively this year.
Gonzalez was a part of the Marlins team that went 20 innings with the Cardinals last year. Had a home run in that game. Mike Lowell had the big home run to tie it up. Took 20 innings. I think Vina was 0 for 9.
And then got the game-winning hit.
Got the game-winning RBI hit.
Thanks for reminding me about that nightmare. Started as a day game and
Hey,
ended
you've
up
always
being
said,
a night.
you know what? You've always said, as Gonzalez is tied up with that fastball, you'll stick around hours
For a win.
for a win. And we got the win.
Yeah. Then
It was afterwards. That was a nightmare.
We waited about 3 hours because our flight crew was illegal. And good running fastball in on him, locking him up for his first strikeout. Then we got to fly back from Miami to St. Louis.
I just remember Orlando Palmeiro's infant was Otter, the most well-behaved person on that flight.
She was, that was our first time we met her. 72 pitches. Very economical here in the 6th inning.
Beckett just got a piece.
I also remember you being a little upset in the 9th inning.
Frustrated, slightly.
Yes. Not without reason.
No. Anybody watching that game was a little frustrated. Beckett went around. Strikeout number 2 for Marquis in this game and in this inning. He's only allowed 2 hits. Back to the top of the order, and Juan Pierre. Here's our Hardy's hot pitch of the game. We'll take you back to the first hitter in this inning, Alex Gonzalez.
Strikeout pitch, set up inside. He's looking out away and really gets locked up, loses balance, and they get the strikeout.
Here's
Swing.
Pierre. Ground ball to Pujols. He'll scoot over to first. Good inning by Marquis. He's been efficient tonight. Bottom of the 6th coming up. That means it's Pujols, Scott Rowland, and Jim Edmonds for St. Louis. 3-1 Cards. Pushing up Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box now accepts MasterCard and Visa at most restaurants. Geico, a 15-minute call can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Briggs & Stratton, the power that works for you. First pitch to Albert Pujols is taken for a ball. Pujols has walked tonight, and he's flied to right. Cardinals with 6 hits, Florida with 2. Redbirds on top 3-1. Pujols, Rowland, and Edmonds for the Cardinals. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Albert comes out of this little slump that he's in, this funk. Maybe yesterday was an indication that he started to get out of it with 3 hits.
Trying to use the center field portion of the diamond. Trying to work pitches away. They'll, a lot of times early in the count will come in on him to get him out of way. Holding the hands high, and then it looks like he kind of really drops them. Maybe one of the indications why he's gotten a lot of pop-ups.
Lays off the breaking ball, 3-1. He's in the driver's seat here.
And Albert, it's how many guys wish they could talk about such a slump and still be batting .279.
Right.
And what he has to concentrate on, and not really he hadn't have to do anything, just be himself, but he has to remember that he has 9 home runs and 23 RBIs, and so he's being productive while his average is down. About 45 points below his career average.
Draws another walk. Been on base twice. On base percentage hasn't been all that poor. This day in baseball history, secret weapon Jose Oquendo becomes the first non-pitcher to get a major league decision, losing to the Braves in 19 innings, 7-5. That was back in 1988. Our Schnooks this day in baseball history.
Did that game, and he did, I want to say it was 3+ innings, but he had 3 shutout innings before they got to him in the 4th. Ricky Mailer got the win. One of their starters came out of relief, came out of the bullpen.
Brent Bain actually picked up a win a couple of years ago, catcher, while pitching for Colorado.
And at that time with Oquendo, it was the first position player with a decision since Rocky Colavito.
Right. 1 ball, 1 strike on Scott Rowland. Rowland tonight has Grounded twice to third. Once was a double play. I think it's, you know, before it's all said and done, you're going to see Jose Oquendo managing somewhere. Very good baseball man. And if language barrier would be a concern, you just go down I-70 and you see what Tony Pena has done. That may drop for a hit, and it will. Pujols is around second. And it's first and third with nobody out. The base hit by Scott Rowland. And in steps Jimmy Edmonds.
Right. Base hit by Scotty, 1 for 3 off of Beckett. But Albert Pujols read that hit absolutely perfectly. There was no hesitation at all. Saw the ball going over his head. You'll see it looping over here, and Pujols goes from first to third without any hesitation. He knew that that ball was not going to be caught, and he could just put his head down, motor into third, and then pick up his third base coach. And a great scoring opportunity with the Cardinals right now, and Jim Edmonds.
Corners are in. First pitch to Edmonds is inside. Jimmy struck out swinging back in the third. Doubled and scored in the second. 1 for 2 on the night. Runners at the corners for the Cards.
5 for 9 and a home run off of Beckett.
Edmonds sticks the bat out. Little looper. That's a fair ball that drops for a hit. Rowland is around second. He will stop at third. Edmonds has his second double on the night. 4-1 St. Louis.
As a pitcher, these base hits, and it's an extra base hit, kill you. You'd rather have a guy hit the ball, as a pitcher would say, like a man, rather than dunk it in like that to the opposite field, and they just wear on you. You hate it. You can't stand it. But obviously it's productive. And now they draw the infield in. Runners at second and third, nobody out. Already a 4-1 lead.
A righty and a lefty throwing in the Marlins bullpen. This is Marlon Anderson.
Jim should advance also at second.
He is going to tag up from second. Tess Pierre safe at third, safe at the plate. 5-1 Cardinals. Anderson picks up his 9th RBI.
Juan Pierre, one of the nicest young men in the game, but you will take advantage of his throwing arm anytime you can. And that could be big with only 1 out for Edmonds to go from second to third. Just doesn't have the arm strength, and they will run on him every time, so you get the extra run and you get a man from second to third.
Now you've got Hector Luna at an RBI base hit up the middle in the second, lined out to center in the fourth. Infield is in once again with Matheny on deck, and this is Luna. 5-1 Cardinals. They've out hit the Marlins 8-2. Luna with a base hit into right. His second RBI. 6-1 St. Louis. Way to go, Hector Luna.
Where's Wally Pipp?
Telling you.
Now, they've thrown the fastball by him a couple times. He's gotten a hit on the breaking ball, and he lined out on a breaking ball. This time they tried to go with the fastball, and good piece of controlled hitting. He went up there with a mindset, I'm going to hit the ball up the middle or to the opposite field, and got a little more solid wood and gets the RBI.
Justin Wayne, the right-hander, continues to throw. Also a lefty is up. The Marlins bullpen. 9 hits for the Cardinals.
Tommy Phelps is the lefty.
Oh, 2 on Mike Matheny. Cardinals have picked up 3 runs here in their half of the 6th. Feel pretty good with this lead. 5 runs with Marquis and the way that he's throwing the baseball tonight. Only 2 hits allowed. Luna's the runner at first with 1 out. third strike. Matheny strikes out for the second time, and it brings in Marquis. Jason is 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts.
He's wondering what's going on. His team has scored him 6 runs. They get a shutout his last start when he pitched effectively. He's got the least amount of run support of any of the Cardinal starters.
Suffered the loss last time out against Montreal, 2-zip. No run support, obviously, in that game. Houston has picked up a couple of runs. They trail in their game 5-3. Chicago at San Diego on the West Coast later tonight. Milwaukee is scoreless with Atlanta. That's at the bottom of the 6th.
There are doubles for Edmonds tonight. 23 of his 37 hits have been for extra base hits. He's got two more doubles tonight.
Ooh, that just missed on the inside corner. Cardinals will miss Dontrell Willis. Darren Oliver, another lefty in their starting rotation, will pitch tomorrow. Brad Penny will throw on Sunday afternoon. Postseason play, Dontrell Willis is working out of the bullpen. Back in the starting rotation this year and pitching very well. The box score, look at the Cardinals lineup, what they have done tonight. Langford the home run. Edmonds 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. An RBI, 2 runs scored. And Hector Luna, pair of RBIs, filling in for Edgar Renteria. Count of 1 ball and 2 strikes on Marquis. They go by the gun here at Busch Stadium. We can go round and round about that. It's at 95 miles an hour, so Beckett's still throwing hard.
Throwing hard, but you're hearing a lot of popping. Sometimes that's an indication of hard, but not much movement.
Strikeout of Marquis. Cardinals pick up 3 more runs and 3 more hits against Beckett. Hector Luna, pair of RBIs tonight, 6-1. So Taguchi will take over in right field for the St. Louis Cardinals. What's on tap brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Darren Oliver and Chris Carpenter tomorrow on WB11 at 1 o'clock. Six to 1 Cardinals, top of the 7th. Marquis has allowed 2 hits tonight. The fastball is up and away to Luis Castillo. He'll be followed by Mike Lowell and Miguel Cabrera. Here's that pitch, 2-0. Theron Morgan works in our front office, in our Cardinal ticket office. Wants to wish his parents, Sandra and E.J. Morgan, happy 38th anniversary. Theron, one of the real nice fellows here with the St. Louis Cardinals. 3-0.
78 pitches thrown. 2-1 strike to ball ratio. Pitching here in the 7th.
Where are some of these pitches? 4 straight. And Castillo draws the walk.
Jason Marquis asking that same question of the home plate umpire, Jack Samuels.
Brings in Mike Lowell. Mentioned that Lowell is among the league leaders with the home runs at 11, 27 RBIs. A lot of his damage has been done against the Philadelphia Phillies. They have beaten the Phillies 18 of the last 20 meetings. Now it's 5 straight. First one, a ball to Lowell.
And Mike Matheny saw after the walk to Castillo on the 4th pitch, Jason got a little upset, and then he pounds one inside. way off the plate to Lowell for the first pitch. So it's 5 consecutive fastballs he's thrown, and they've been around the plate but not in it.
6-1 Cardinals as Marquis works on a spike, clearing some of that mud, that dirt. Cabrera on deck, and then Hee-Sop Choi. Marquis has enjoyed a couple of double plays behind him tonight. Love to see one here. A ball and a strike on Mike Lowell. Line drive and a foul ball. Going to know an awful lot about this team in about a month or so, Al, with 20 of 26 on the road and a lot of games coming up with Chicago and Houston. Cardinals have an off day on Monday, then it's off to New York. Those games will be seen on Fox Sports Net. Next weekend in Chicago, which is always a lot of fun. 2-2. Mentioned before, Marquis had struggled here at home with an ERA near 5. 2-2 pitch. Full count.
He's trying to keep the ball down, trying to work that sinker for a ground ball double play. Cardinals have already turned 2 behind him. This is the big pitch. 6-1 lead, but
Mike Lowell, a great story, a cancer survivor. There was some talk that he thought it may have come back last year, but it did not. He got the extension that he was looking for to stay in Florida. Luna, diving stop. Throw to second, safe. Terrific effort, though, from Hector Luna. The only way that they didn't get Castillo is because of his speed. Great play.
You almost wonder if it's Renteria and he makes the same play. And it's a nice play, but with Renteria knowing Castillo's speed, if he doesn't try and pop up and get Lowell, the hitter. Castillo, one of the best base stealers in the game, so he's got the good speed and he beats it out there at second base. But a heck of a play by Luna, and lesser running speed or opponent, and he pulls off a very, very nice play and gets a force out at second.
Cal Eldred starting to get loose in that Cardinal bullpen. Starts with a walk to Castillo. Hard hit ball by Mike Lowell, and now Miguel Cabrera. Be careful with him. He could lose one in a hurry and get this game close again.
Well, that's it. And you've got to get Jason's, make sure he doesn't let his emotions wander, get too high or get too casual on the other side. And if you're Cabrera, he might just sit there, even though he's 21, just relax and say, you know, if he's going to try and get ahead of me, I'm going to look for a pitch right in this zone.
Cabrera may have broken his bat on that. Carries out to shallow right. Edmonds is there. They won't test him. Strong throw back into the infield, and that's out number 1. Cardinals are partnering this season with Scrubs and Beyond to sponsor a Scrubs Under the Stars promotion when the Cardinals play the Cubs in Chicago on June 8th. Some lucky fans will be selected to watch the game from the field at Busch Stadium under the stars. Do it in style with Fred Bird, a new pair of Cardinals Scrubs.
So the game's at Chicago.
You watch it here.
But you watch it here under the stars.
Right. Swing and a miss by Hee-Sop Choi.
Guess you get to watch it under Fredberg. Pulls the string on Choi there a bit. Swing it over the top, a little bit out front.
2 strikes.
Breaking ball, trying to keep the throw him something hard in the inner half. Now that you got ahead of him, now you can kind of get the inexperienced hitter to expand his zone and get himself out. See if they don't throw this well off the plate. Got a little too much of it. Still couldn't do anything with the fastball.
Behind in the count here with no balls and 2 strikes, and see what he does in this situation.
And see how important he goes up there looking for, say, the first ball fastball. You throw a breaking ball or something off speed, get ahead of him, and then you have your way.
Back to Marquis. They get 1. Can they turn 2? No. Hard slide out there at second base. So 2 outs, first and third. And it brings in Conine. Conine 1 for 2 on the night. A look from our on-deck cam.
Breaking ball. See, you had him hit it off the end of the bat. Kind of a little risky play to throw that ball flat-footed. No crawl hop, but he's trying to get there as soon as he can, but didn't have a lot on the throw to Luna at second. Choi runs pretty good for a big man.
Ball 1 to Conine, hitting .275 with a pair of home runs and 11 RBIs. Remind you that the Midwest Sports Report coming up after the game here on Fox Sports Net. Two 2-0. Cal Eldred continuing to throw in that Cardinal bullpen. Three and 0. Two outs, runners in scoring position. Not bad numbers at 286. Home run and 4 RBIs. Marlins coming off a series win over Houston. They're 20 and 14. This is their best mark through 34 games, franchise history. 3-1. Runners at first and third, the 6-1 game in favor of St. Louis. Hit to Luna. Force play at second. Bottom of the 7th is coming up. Good work here by Jason Marquis. Keeps it a 6-1 Cardinals lead. St. Louis Renaissance Grand Hotel. Tommy Phelps is into the ball game for the Florida Marlins.
He's never faced the Cardinals, and he hasn't pitched for about 8 days. He's allowed to run in 4 of his last 5 outings. A lot of hits. Batting .417 against him. In 8 innings, he's given up 15 hits.
Marilyn Salzman is tonight's merchandise prize winner in our Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run here in the 7th, Maryland qualifies for the Hyundai Santa Fe drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Couple lefties due up for the Cardinals in Womack and Langford, so Jack McKeon goes to his left-hander, Phelps. And a 6-1 Cardinals lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Tony Womack is 1 for 3 on the night. He has flied to right, get into a fielder's choice, and singled back in the 5th his last time up.
Right-handed batters have batted .500 against Phelps. I know he walked Barry Bonds in one outing, so the lefties go up there and get a good look at him. And they saw him in spring training probably more than once.
Womack slaps that one down the left field line and foul. Phelps was born in Seoul, South Korea. Now resides in Florida.
Military brat, probably.
Yep.
I've been to Seoul.
Hit to short. 1 out. Brings in Langford. What are you doing at Seoul?
Isn't it DMZ? Ray Langford, the veteran he is, smart guy, helped the catcher with his mask. And tell me what's coming.
Don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you can ask.
You can always ask.
Okay, it's going to be a breaking ball.
Langford is 4 for 6 against left-handed pitching. That may surprise some. Back in the first off of Josh Beckett. He unloaded. Cardinals' first run tonight. 2 balls and no strikes on Langford.
Well, Ray, RBIs have been slow in coming, but he has 4 home runs, 7 RBIs. As you said, he is not defenseless against lefties.
Pujols waiting on deck. 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Ray Langford back with the Cardinals.
Great story.
Langford went around to strike out for Phelps, and it brings in Albert. Reality TV coming to Fox Sports Net. We're looking for a Cardinals fan to work the toughest jobs at Busch Stadium. If they survive, they will help Cardinals president Mark Lamping run the team for a game. Entries must be received by May 28th. For details, visit the Pay and Your Dues webpage at foxsports.com.
Yeah, do a little video of some of your talents, some of your work skills, and then submit that by the date.
May 28th, and you got a chance for club president for a day.
Might get to shine Dan McLaughlin's shoes up here in the booth. If you can pass that rough test, then you get to sit with the president, Mark Lamping, during the game. Run the whole show.
Select the entries for the Hungo Award. Pujols grounds out. Good work by Phelps. We head to the 8th. 6-1 St. Louis. Presented by authority of the Cardinals, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinal Baseball, a production of Bud Sports, and is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. Young man enjoying this one. Cardinals lead it 6-1. Marquis back to work. 3 hits allowed. This is Redmond. First pitch, a ball.
Ray King throwing behind Marquis in the Cardinal bullpen, but Jason should get plenty to get through this 8th.
Line shot into right. Taguchi is there, makes the play.
Gucci playing shallow, but the ability to go back on that line drive. An early out here in the 8th inning.
Pitch count at 98 for Marquis.
Pitches well. You'd love to see him get through this 8th, but not too many pitches thrown. And you see Ray King.
Damian Easley is moved to the on-deck circle, and this is Gonzalez. Strike to Alex Gonzalez. 0 for 2 on the night. Lied to right, struck out. Cardinals have got tremendous starting pitching as of late. Many thought that this would be a sore spot. You know, you're not really sure about Marquis. You're not sure about Carpenter bouncing back, but the Cardinals have got fantastic pitching.
And Supan's going to have a couple of those outings, but he'll shrug it off. Like you said, he was over at Mike Shannon's last night for that celebrity waiter, and so I mean, he didn't let it beat him up. And you know, a lot of the fans looked at the marquee names of Chicago and Houston, and rightfully, you know, put those guys ahead of the Cardinals. But these starters are good. And you know what the interesting thing, and unfortunately Matt shaved. He's a mama's boy. He shaved. But You know, we really haven't taken advantage of the great Cardinal defense yet. They have not played to their capabilities to help out this pitching staff.
The other thing, too, that stands out, Renteria has not played to the level that we're accustomed to seeing him play at. Obviously, Pujols has struggled by his standards. So you're waiting for that to come together, too. Terrific line for Marquis tonight. Here's Luna. Flooding, 2 outs. Cardinal fans, tomorrow from 11 to 1. Al will be available at the Cannon Phono tent, located in the family pavilion courtyard area, to meet fans, take free photos, sign some autographs. One lucky fan will be selected to receive a Canon Digital Rebel camera kit and have the chance to shoot 3 innings of a Cardinals game from the photographer's pit, just like the pros.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. 11 to 1 tomorrow.
Damon Easley is pinch hitting here, and Scott Rovac, he'll show you how to work that Canon Rebel. He won't let you borrow his lens.
There's a shot into left field for the 4th base hit for the Marlins, and we're back to the top of the order.
Damon Easley, Cardinals had some interest in him in spring training. Then they got Tony Womack, and I think the Florida Marlins are happy to have Easley, and we're happy to have Womack.
Here's Juan Pierre hitting .340. 0 for 3 tonight. That's been a key. Marquis has kept him off the bases. Combined, Pierre and Castillo have gone 0 for 5 with a walk. Among the league leaders in hits. Breaking ball misses upstairs. Cardinals have a righty throwing. They've had Cal Eldred throwing. And Ray King up. 36,000 plus tonight. 36,810. A Bud Light t-shirt night. 1 and 2. Question for Tony La Russa: do you go back with Marquis in the 9th?
I think that the fact that they had, you know, Ray King up, and now they've got the right-hander up, probably is no. And his total is over 100 pitches. And the Bud Light t-shirt that was given away today. I needed it for a little extra warmth.
Chilly tonight.
It's going to be great weather tomorrow.
2-2 and a base hit.
Better Sunday.
Back-to-back singles for Florida. And it brings in Castillo. Explore Cardinal baseball by arriving at the game in your new Ford Explorer with $2,000 cash back or 0% APR financing for 60 months. It's the smart way to get to the game. Only at your quality Ford stores, your home run to Cardinal baseball fun. Runners at first and second, and this will be Lenny Harris. He will be the pinch hitter for the Marlins. This might be it for Marquis.
That'll be it with the all-time pinch hitter leader announced. Should get a very good ovation.
He'll exit with 2 outs in the 8th. Call to the bullpen. Brought to you by the St. Louis Renaissance Grand Hotel. Ray King trotting in from that bullpen. We'll take a timeout, step aside with 2 outs, 2 runners on, and a 6-1 St. Louis lead.
And they really like Ray King, too. You see Ray's appearing for the 19th time. Good ERA of 2.77, 13 innings pitched. Opponents are batting .299, and he got off to a little slow start with the first batter, and since that time he has really pitched very well. He pitched yesterday. About 4 guys came out of the bullpen with a 5-day layoff. Marquis was outstanding. He goes 7 2/3, 5 hits allowed, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and hopefully just the 1 run surrendered. Ray can get the final out here at the 8th inning. In there, it's 2 runners on.
It's just not a bright move to do it, Al. You may win a bet, but then you got to get yourself out of the clink. That's going to cost you some
They
benefits.
have made a new national rule of fans jumping on the field, and Cordero now is pinch hitting for Lenny Harris, who's off to a slow start, the all-time pinch hitter. And I think there is a new stiffer penalties, national penalties, that start out at a minimum of a $1,000 fine.
Is that right? It used to be 500.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the cities did it, but because of things that are going on in the world, and particularly some of the incidents that happened in Chicago, fans hitting players, they're stiffening the penalties, and some of St. Louis are going to find out about it.
2 balls and a strike. Toby Borland is warming up in the Marlins bullpen. Ray King trying to send this thing to the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals leading 6-1. Good pitch.
See Ray King, does he get him to go around? Boy, those hands sure look like they went through from this side, but the only guy that mattered was Jerry Crawford, Cardinals favorite.
The 3-1 pitch. That is drilled into left field. And it's off the wall. Cardinals get it back in very quickly, and boy, that's well played out there. And Cordero is held to just a single. Great play by Langford.
He got back, it was over his head, but he got back to it, got the carom perfectly, and got it back in. So here you see he gets the ball up a little bit out over there. Watch Ray gets over his head, hits right at the base, snaps right into his glove, right over the top. And Luna's got a much stronger throwing arm, so that held the runners at the corners. And now with Mike Lowell up, and it is a save opportunity. I wonder if that's Izzy's out there.
Cardinals do have a man getting loose in the bullpen.
That's Jason Isringhausen,
Yep.
because it's a save opportunity now. So Tony will do a double switch. That'll give Izzy enough time to tie his shoelaces and then throw a few. And I'm not sure Jerry Crawford didn't throw out Ray King. And that looks like the case. Ray King upset that he didn't get the check swing called. And I think he's been ejected by Jerry Crawford. Mike Matheny out there. Tony probably doesn't even realize it. And Izzy will be coming in, and here's Ray King's going to get his money's worth. He may be pushing it to the $1,000 fine. The emotions on a ball field. Colin Porter will go in. Looks like he's going to be headed to left field. And Ray King's going to the showers.
This call to the bullpen brought to you by the St. Louis Renaissance Grand Hotel. Izzy is into the game. He will face Mike Lowell. Situation at 6-2 Cardinals. Here in the 8th with runners at first and third and 2 outs.
And in order to qualify for a save, and this is a save opportunity because you got the 2 men on plus the batter and the on-deck hitter. So the on-deck hitter represents the potential tying run. Colin Porter now playing left field, part of the double switch.
Lowell with 11 home runs. Right on the pitch, fouled it back for strike 1. So Jerry Crawford ejects Ray King. Cardinals make that double switch with Porter in left Izzy on the mound. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lowell could cut this lead with a home run to 1 run. Then you've got Miguel Cabrera.
We're not talking about the swagger of the Florida Marlins. Sometimes as a closer, you're sitting down there thinking your starter's just sailing along, and you may think of you've got the 9th, but you've got to watch and pay attention, see how quickly you could be in a game.
3-1. Lowell with 32 home runs last season. Over 100 RBIs. It's the call on the outside corner. So runner at first off with this next pitch with a full count, 2 down here in the 8th.
Take a look at that second strike. Like the cutter. And not the 3-1 pitch that Lowell would be looking for.
Popped him up. The bottom of the 8th is coming up. Dan and Al with you, and let's take you to our pitch by pitch. It's brought to you by Chevrolet, and Mike Lowell was the man at the plate against Isringhausen.
Well, Izzy comes out there, looks like he throws, pitch gets ahead, he tries to overthrow the cutter there, another cutter outside, and a 3rd one, ball behind the count, then he gets the called strike, run fair, and then another cutter, and he gets him to pop it up. So big out, and Toby Borland will come in. Even though it was a save opportunity when he came in, now it, that 4-run lead looks fairly safe, but the Cardinals have an opportunity to add to it, and Izzy's still in the game.
Marlins will have Miguel Cabrera, Hesap Choi, and then Jeff Conine looking ahead to the 9th. This is Scott Rowland for the Birds. As Borland drops down and throws a ball in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Toby's only his 2nd game. He's only faced 1 other batter. Retired him. Been around a long time. Pitched 9 previous games against the Cardinals in his career.
Ball, 3rd strike on Rowland. 1 for 4 tonight to Scotty. Brings in Edmonds. Easily stays in the game to play second base after coming off the bench and picking up a base hit. Here's Edmonds, 2 for 3 tonight. Pair of doubles. RBI, couple runs scored as well. Feel good about getting that Josh Beckett leading this game 6-2. You've got Darren Oliver tomorrow going for the Florida Marlins. Cardinals will have Chris Carpenter, who's 3-1, and then Woody Williams, after his first victory of the season, will go on Sunday against Brad Penny. 2-0 on Edmonds, flirting with that 300 benchmark, hitting .289. Borland from the stretch. 3-0. So Taguchi is on deck.
Toby now 34 years of age, his 3rd season with the Marlins after spending a career with Philadelphia, 2 different stints, the Mets, Boston, and Anaheim.
On 3-1, a ground ball to Easley. 2 outs. Promo time, Al. Visit stlouiscardinals.com, stlcardinals.com, the #1 site for live game pitch-by-pitch coverage, MLB TV, and MLB.com game day audio. STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on.
Hey, as Taguchi comes in here, we're going to start thinking about the Hungo Award for this week.
You didn't give us any candidates yet.
I didn't give you any?
Do you see any in front of me? Have
Do
you
you
told
see
me
any?
any?
Do you see any video help from the truck from me?
You don't need help. This is your award. You're the man.
You know I need a lot of help with a lot of things.
So give us some candidates.
Did you see the ground crewsman? The ground crew
Yes. I
train
did see
wreck
that.
yesterday?
By the way, did you see your monitor now?
Yes, I see it. There's some talk that
One and two on So Taguchi.
you win the award and do whatever you want with it.
Taguchi strikes out. And we head to the ninth. Cardinals leading 6-2.
Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. And by Chevrolet. 10 new models, 5 available now. The new Chevrolets, an American revolution.
Ninth inning, Cardinals up by 4 runs, 6-2. Cabrera will be the first hitter for the Marlins. Midwest Sports Report is coming up. We hope you stay with us. Isringhausen got the final out in the 8th. A pop-up of Lowe with 2 runners on. Cabrera tonight is 1 for 3. Numbers are pretty impressive. 292, 11 home runs, and 28 RBIs. He just turned 21. Good fastball from Izzy. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Nice talent here with a good challenge facing Izzy, one of the top relievers. Jason throws a power fastball, then he has a very good breaking ball, changeup, but his slider is what he loves. Breaking ball there and bounces it.
2-2. Finally in his rearview mirror. I'm sure he's let you know about it.
He's after a few other guys now.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Cabrera.
He can pass Corner and Brazel, and then he set his sights on Lindy McDaniel.
Daniels 5th all-time on the Cardinals save list. 3-2 is popped up and out of play.
Mention the Cabrera. Every time he comes to the plate, he sees a lot of pitches. Over 4 pitches of plate appearance.
High fly ball into left. Colin Porter makes the play for the first out. Midwest Sports Report coming up. Pat Paris is standing by.
Next on the Busch Light Midwest Sports Report, a complete post-game wrap-up, plus your phone calls. More on the Mike Danton situation and this week's Hungo Award winner. See you after the game, guys.
Thank you, Pat. Cabrera the first out. Now it's Aesop Choi. Picked up his first ever home run in this ballpark while playing with Chicago. Now taking a strike down by 4 runs. Fouls it back. And the 6-2 Cardinals lead.
I remember that graphic when he was ahead in the count, so he's going to go up there looking for that first ball fastball. He got it, couldn't do anything with it.
Third ball just a little up to Choi. 1 ball, 1 strike. is waiting on deck. Joy tonight 0 for 2. Three and one, and again Isringhausen falling behind. He's done that with each batter he's seen.
Izzy's really not quite in sync.
Popped up. He's so good. That's what he can do, even behind at 3 balls and a strike. Tonight's play of the game is brought to you by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, Rio. It's all here. Hector Luna. A start tonight at shortstop, and it paid off, Al.
He's starting to contribute offensively. He has 2 hits and 2 RBIs, and that was a big one out to right field, scoring Edmonds. Edmonds scored a couple times.
At no point this season have the Cardinals been 2 or more, or rather over 2 games above 500, or 2 or more below. So here they go with a win tonight. If they can hold on, looks like they will. They'll be 19 and 17. Strike one.
Get back to being only 3 games under 500 at home, and hopefully a chance to get even. Well, you wouldn't still get even. They're 1 down by the end of the homestand.
Line drive into left. Porter on the move. He won't get it. Conine extends the game with 2 outs. Brings in Mike Redmond.
Redmond's kind of had a tough night, 0 for 3, but he's hit into 2 double plays and lined out to right.
Thanks to our Bud Sports crew, the best in the business here in St. Louis. Mike Elling, Brian McCann, Doug Stanton, our producer. Strike one.
He wanted to start him out with a fastball. Matheny first suggested a cutter, and then he put down the fastball. Fielder's indifference. They allow Conine to go to second.
One ball, 1 strike. And to center, Edmonds on the move. That could be trouble, and it is. That will go to the wall. Makes it a 6-3 Cardinals lead. So Redmond picks up his first hit. 1 for 4 with the RBI. And it brings in Alex Gonzalez.
Now, Izzy, the problem is now is he's getting his pitch count up this inning, trying to get the final out of the ball game, and the day game tomorrow. Now you get, that's sometimes what happens. That second inning of work, get the first 2 guys out, throwing a lot of pitches, and it looks like it's over.
Popped up right side. Pujols. Cardinals win it. Six to 3 our final. Cardinals win it. We'll be right back with a complete post-game report. Marquis the winner, now 2 and 3. Beckett 3 and 3. Isringhausen the save, number 7. 6 to 3 our final. For Al, I'm Dan. We send it to the Midwest Sports Report.